Good morning, millennials.
Welcome back to The Toast and happy Friday, a cause to celebrate, except for the fact that the virus I've been literally meaning to throw hands with has now infiltrated my fucking sister. And not only has it infiltrated my fucking sister, it's infiltrated my sister's fucking ability to do her job. So it's infiltrated The Toast. Heretofore, it has infiltrated me. And today's episode, Jackie is such a trooper, still showing up for work. It is audio only. She looks so cute in her pajamas. But hey, Jax, how you doing?
Hey, Turd. I've been better. I think this is the sickest I've ever podcast. We'll see how it goes. I hope I can speak without choking, and I hope that I can have a personality. These are like the first words I'm uttering today.
I don't want you to worry about the speaking.
This is your dream come true.
I've got it down. And actually, there was so much going on in the world last night, like with NFL honors and then Craig on Watch What Happens Live. Like, I have a lot to say. So I don't want you to worry. I want you to speak, of course, when you feel comfortable. But I just want you to know, like, I got you.
Thank you so much. I know I watched Southern Charm last night and Craig was on Watch What Happens Live. I watched all of it. And to not come on and discuss when we've been waiting for these sorts of answers. And
you had to, sorry.
He was being so open.
Well, I didn't really put together that this was like his first real sit-down interview and that it was going to be Watch What Happens Live, not a one-on-one. I'm sorry. Like, if there ever was a time for a person to have a one-on-one, it was Craig on Watch What Happens Live because I actually felt bad for the other girl. I don't even know who she is. Is she from Southern Charm?
Maddie from Southern Hospitality, which is Leva's spinoff show. And considering everyone was there for Craig, I actually thought she did really well and was a good advertisement for Southern Hospitality, which I don't watch and I won't watch, but I'm closer to watching it than ever before.
Yeah, and like her having the chair next to Andy, like the whole thing was a little weird. Do you agree?
I just feel like that was respect for women.
I thought it was respect for the fact that if she wasn't in the first chair, she would not have been a part of the episode because it was the Craig show.
I think that they have this unwritten rule when it's a man and a woman that the woman would sit in that chair.
Oh, that's really interesting. I think it's more like there's so many different factors. And for this particular girl, like usually if it's like two celebrities or Bravo celebrities of equal value, like the closer to Andy is like the person who's a little bit more famous. But with Craig, I actually really feel like if they were going to have a second person there, especially somebody who's like on a new show, she really would have gotten left behind the whole episode if she was on the second chair. It was just would have been like Andy. And so I think for the sake of literally keeping her involved in the conversation, she had to be in the middle.
Yeah, but shockingly, Andy is into Southern Hospitality. When they were talking about her show, and I don't know any of these people, and I don't know the storyline, like, I haven't had that experience in so long that they were literally speaking Chinese. Like, what? I don't know anyone. It's not like even a Housewives that I've fallen off with. Like, I see it on social media. Like, I just was watching two different shows.
Yeah, that's actually really funny. And I feel like Andy really... well, him or his producer, like really did his homework because there's been like a lot of like internet lore.
He asked every question that we've even been itching, like Rachel Kirkconnell.
Yeah, but he was, that. But I mean in terms of like the actual nitty gritty of Paige and Craig, like so many like internet theories and different like points of view on Team Paige. And I feel like he really hit all the points that the internet would have wanted. I feel like he wasn't going to flop this moment because so many times like there's like a big thing happening on Watch What Happens Live and Andy doesn't understand like the cultural impact because it's like so chronically online. But I think he really understood and he had good questions and I think he did a very good job.
I also feel like Andy feels like Paige and Craig owe him and the network the truth and that nothing is off limits because they are both network stars. They have benefited so much from their relationship and the network, even at the end of Southern Charm, which I'll recap at the end of the show because I know not everyone watches, but they did a preview for the rest of the season. And they film the breakup, post-breakup, it looks like, because like everyone's in their winter sweaters. Meanwhile, this is happening in spring. So like everyone's in winter. Craig and Austin and Shep are like sitting down. He's saying how he bought a ring and he's devastated. So like they picked cameras back up, which on the one hand is kind of invasive. But on the other hand, like that's what these two signed up for.
Yeah. Yikes. Okay, so we'll get into that. That's obviously a whole story. And it was the NFL honors last night. So just like lots to discuss. So I want you to just feel comfortable kind of taking a back seat. I know you don't usually do that.
So unlike me.
I want you to know like it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah, I feel a little better just talking. My head feels like 1,000,000 pounds. I got fever in the night. Like yesterday I didn't have a fever. I just had like body aches and chills. And I thought that would be the worst of it. But no, today is far worse. And it's the flu because that's what's been going around. So if I had to put a label on it.
We're so not into labels here at The Toast. Something about having a fever like really makes you feel like a kid. Like what grown adult gets a fever?
No, I know. And I'm like laying in bed and I'm like, after taking care of like Harry and Charlie all week, I was like, who's going to take care of me? Like who's going to rub my head?
That's like actually a really fucking depressing like moment in your life where you realize like the person taking care of you. Cause like I feel like I'm at the stage where if I'm sick, like Ben's gonna take care of me. But once we, God willing, like have children, that's no longer like the hierarchy has shifted.
Yeah, Zach was off with them as he should be.
Right.
So like, because I'm just grateful to get time alone.
Of course.
But then I'm like, who's gonna order me soup or God forbid cook it?
It's like sick and twisted when you think about it. It makes me upset.
What they say, you've got to put on your oxygen mask before anyone else.
Oh, before assisting others. I love that. It's so true, by the way.
I mean, it's literally the law.
No, but like as a metaphor, it's true. Like I can't help you if I can't even help myself.
Sometimes you got to spread yourself thin and just get it done. And we'll deal with my oxygen at the end of the day.
I love like a phrase or a motto that encourages selfishness, you know?
Yes.
I'm gonna use it.
Yeah, no, people love that one, especially in the mama community, like on mama reels.
Oh, speaking of mamas.
Okay.
Shannon.
Oh, it's just God, like when you've already known.
Yeah, you know? Not to be annoying. Like we knew like the day she found out. Like, yeah.
Of course.
I am so happy. And I've been wanting to share this part of my, not to make everything about me.
Right.
I've been wanting to share this part of my TTC journey with the toasters that I couldn't because I didn't want to like drag Shannon into it. But Shannon and I were both trying at the same time. And literally the month I got pregnant because of Shannon. I feel like I've told the story that I was using those strips.
Yeah.
Pre-mom strips. I was doing them wrong for like literally 3 months. And I was talking to Shannon about it because we were just like swapping stories about how annoying it was to like pee on this like little thing in the middle of a restaurant. And she was like, and then you put in the app and like finally it tells you. I'm like, wait, I hadn't even heard. I was like, what? She's like, yeah, that's how you know which is really your peak, like which line is truly darker. The app, like you scan it. Oh my God, she saved me so much time. And that was the month I got pregnant. Like seriously, streamlined the whole thing for me.
So you were doing it wrong in the sense of not using the app. Just in case anyone's doing it wrong out there.
Yeah, so I was basically just like doing the strips and you can see the lines, but it's hard to know like was yesterday's line darker or like a little bit darker? Which day was like truly the peak? And if you don't scan it, if you scan it on the app, they'll tell you like the exact percentage that you're peaking and if it was more or less than the day before. So it was just, and it's also just an organized way to keep a picture of your strips because like if you do it in your photo albums, like the lighting could be different and it could look weird.
Yeah.
So she totally like got me preg. And
you got pregnant by Shannon.
I got pregnant by Shannon Ford. And I've been wanting to share that and give her like so much credit, but obviously I don't want to like blow up her spot while she was working through her thing. So so happy. By the way, everyone, like TNN is so fertile right now.
TNN.
The good guys.
TNN supports women.
TNN supports mothers in the workplace.
And they support families and the family.
Yes, it's just kind of like a family channel.
ABC, TNN family.
We've got the good guys on both sides. We've got probably a podcast. Like it's the redheads just popped out a baby. Like
true.
We're seriously just like we're kind of repopulating the earth.
Like, gone but not forgotten.
Lauren Elizabeth is a core member of TNN. She was the first show we ever launched.
She's a founding member.
She's a founding member. And just because her podcast, like for right now, is not currently on air, does not mean that she's not an important, vital founding member of TNN. Thank you for bringing her up. You're right. She is a core mother.
She is a TNN. Part of her story.
The mothers of TNN.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So I know you are obviously not feeling well. So let's dive into the Fast Five. We also have the Southern Charm recap and Queenie and Weenie, which I'm so excited about.
There's only one Queenie this week.
Okay. There's actually two.
Oh, okay. Let's save it.
Because I know what your Queenie is and I didn't want to choose it in addition because I wanted to like, you know.
But sometimes someone is a resounding Queenie. Like
yes.
By unanimous vote.
But the person I chose for Queenie like is just as much of a Queenie as I know who yours is.
Okay. So now, without further ado, it is time for the Fast Five stories that you need to know.
And the Fast Five stories that you need to know are brought to you by Boll & Branch. If you really want to change the way you sleep, you need to upgrade to Boll & Branch's 100% organic cotton sheets. You'll fall asleep faster with a luxurious softness that puts you in an instant mode of relaxation. You'll spend every night in buttery, breathable comfort, and you will feel your sheets get softer with every wash. So discover the difference with Boll & Branch and their 30-night guarantee. Beds are such important places, especially like Jackie's fallen ill. She'll be spending the rest of the weekend in bed. They're places of restoration. They're places of rehabilitation. They're places of peace. And for some of us, they're also our offices. They're also our kitchens. Like they are our desks. They're everything. And making sure that we have the most pargy vibes is of the utmost importance to our mental health. And Boll & Branch is a cornerstone of parginess in the bedroom. Love all of their sheets. Love their throw blankets. They have really cute like bed accessories. They're made super well. They're great if you're like a warm sleeper or a cold sleeper because they regulate your temperature really well. They're super highly rated, like so many 5-star reviews on the interwebs. They're made different with the finest 100% organic cotton on earth, and they're crafted by artisans who earn the pay and respect that they deserve. So the signature hemmed sheets are the most best-selling product. That's what we have in our house. And they're fabulous. They come in tons of different colors, tons of different sizes from twin up to California king. So now's your chance to change the way you sleep with Boll & Branch. Get 15% off plus free shipping on your first set of sheets at bollandbranch.com with our promo code TOAST. That's BOLLAND branch.com. Promo code TOAST to save 15% off. bollandbranch.com's promo code TOAST. Exclusions apply. See site for details. Today's episode is also brought to you by Roe. Do you want the fastest working GLP-1 for half the price? Well, Roe has got you covered. If you're ready to lose an average of 15% of your weight faster, meet the latest offer through Roe. So GLP-1 medications are definitely taking the world by storm. They rocked my world a couple of years ago, some of the best times of my life. And a lot of people are changing their lives, changing their weight, changing their entire lifestyle thanks to the help of GLP-1s, but it can be really hard to find out how to get a prescription, to even know where to begin. When people ask me about my journey, they're like, who do I talk to about this? Well, let me introduce you to Roe. They now offer FDA-approved weight loss vials for half the list price of the auto-injector pens and without implying insurance or saving cards and with results that you can see. So if you are prescribed through Roe, you can lose 15% of your weight on average in a year. The formula from Eli Lilly hits not one but 2 hormones to curb your hunger, but also cause less nausea. Your Roe-affiliated provider will help you understand if GLP-1s are right for you and your goals, but that's just the beginning. Roe members have support throughout the process. You can sign up online from the comfort of your own home, which means no waiting rooms, no in-person doctors, no commute to the doctor's office, and just no awkward conversation. So it's faster weight loss, it's higher confidence, and it's cheaper price. Join the over 385,000 people who have already chosen Roe to access GLP-1 medications, and go to roe.co/toast to see if you qualify today. That's ro.co/toast. Go to roe.co/safety for boxed warning and full safety information about GLP-1 medications. Love seeing all the toasters who have done Roe and like are starting to change their lives because I'm so jealous and happy for you. It's the best thing. Today's episode is also brought to you by Hiya Health. So typical children's vitamins are basically candy in disguise. They are filled with 2 teaspoons of sugar, really unhealthy chemicals, other gummy additives that kids should not be eating while they're growing up, but also like if you're trying to service them to like make them healthier and then you're having something that's like filled with crap. And that's why Hiya was created. It's a super powered chewable vitamin. While many children's vitamins are filled with 5 grams of sugar, they are known to contribute to a variety of health issues. Hiya is different because they are made with 0 sugar and 0 gummy additives. But it tastes great and it's perfect for picky eaters. So Hiya is filling in the most common gaps in modern children's diets to provide the full body nourishment that your kids need with a yummy taste that they love. It's formulated with the help of pediatricians and nutritional experts. It's pressed with a blend of 12 organic fruits, vegetables, and then supercharged with 15 essential vitamins and minerals, including vitamin D, B12, C, zinc, folate, all the good ones. They're also non-GMO, vegan, dairy-free, allergy-free, gelatin-free, nut-free, really free of anything else that you can imagine. So check it out. My niece Michaela is obsessed with her Hiya Health. Also, like the bottle's really cute and you can like put stickers on it. It's like fun for the kids. She's a super picky eater. Like homegirl doesn't like steak. Who doesn't like steak? So even like the fact that she like flies across the house when it's time for her vitamin, the fact that she likes it is truly a ringing endorsement. And we've worked out a special deal with Hiya for their best-selling children's vitamin. Receive 50% off your first order when you go to hiyahealth.com/toast. I said first, don't be rude. This deal is not available on their regular website, only hiyahealth.com/toast to get your kids the full body nourishment that they need to grow into healthy adults.
I'm sick. You can't yell at me.
I didn't. I'm just saying I said first. Like,
yeah,
roll the
definitely.
tapes.
Get it off your first order.
That's what I said first. You're saying first.
Okay. First story. Craig Conover went on Watch What Happens Live last night following an episode of Southern Charm to discuss his breakup with Andy Cohen. So a lot came out from last night, and I just have to mention this scene on Southern Charm between Craig and Paige. I'm sure you've seen clips. She was visiting him. They went to a farm to like see the beekeeper. Remember when he was on the Toast? Yep. Not to make it about us. He was talking about how they love having bees. So that we saw them like go put on their bee
Start
suits.
that journey.
He's so excited about the bees. Like she's having a panic attack, which like is so real. And then they walk around the farm and talk about their relationship and like their dreams. Cause he's like salivating. Like, this is my dream, chicken, like to live on a farm with a bunch of animals and a bunch of kids. And she's kind of like, hold your horses. And it's kind of the same conversation that we've seen them have when they've had these hard conversations of like, one, Craig is ready for all of this. And then two, Paige sometimes wants the same thing that he wants and other times doesn't. He says that like she changes her mind a lot and he's just like giving her the time and patience.
Space,
but then she's also like, well, don't pressure me. And he's like, I'm not pressuring you. But she's like, even having this conversation is you pressuring me. And like, I think in a relationship, like you're allowed to ask like, hey, where are we going and when? This going? Without it being pressure. And I think he tried to navigate that as best as possible, but she still felt pressured. So that conversation, then knowing that they broke up, like obviously reads differently than the ones that they've had in the past where it's actually the same conversation. They're talking about how like they're kind of having a hard time
knowing what we know.
Now knowing what we know, we're like, okay, these are the issues that they had and this is why they broke up. The only thing that's like a sticking point, it's like Craig never ran out of patience. That's what's so crazy. It's like he didn't say, I can't do this anymore. Like I want to get married and have kids. She said she doesn't want to do this anymore with him.
Yeah, so that was kind of the saddest part of what Craig had said on Watch What Happens Live was that like, you know, he fully, and we had sort of gathered this based on certain things, but pretty much confirmed like Paige was the one who broke up with him. He got dumped like kind of, you know, out of the blue in his mind on the phone. And that it wasn't because of the timelines, because he was willing to wait. It was just like that Paige finally came to the realization that like, yes, she wants those things, but not with me. And to hear him say that was like so sad.
Craig was moving to New York. So it's not like that was another roadblock of like, no one will move. Like he was ready to move and be the one to do that. And then she broke up with him. And so then he had to sort of explain this timeline because Paige had said the other day, like they broke up over Thanksgiving. Then Southern Charm press tour started. And he's like, did you come on Watch What Happens Live and lie about you and Paige?
And by the way, Craig is getting dragged on the internet. People being like, that's really weird. They're pulling up this like Page 6 interview that he did, just talking about, you know, how Paige is crushing it on Giggly Squad and the tour.
You could say that about someone that you broke up with, by the way.
No, but like, and talking like they're still together. Like he was saying things in the interview and people are like, that's really weird of Craig. Like they're clowning on him so hard. And I didn't think it was so weird. And he explained himself on Watch What Happens Live. And I thought it was a good explanation. He was like, well, first of all, this was like 3 days after the breakup. I was definitely still in denial and shock. And like, I thought maybe we were going to work it through. So like, why make a whole big kerfuffle if we're just going to get back together? And two, like, yeah, I didn't want it to, we weren't telling people yet. So I have to just do my job. Like, I didn't think it was so weird, but he's getting like really made fun of for like walking around pretending they're still together. I actually don't think it's weird.
I didn't think that was weird either from the way that he told the series of events. They were together Thanksgiving, then he left and she called and said like, I think we should break up. Then he has to be in New York for press and he's staying at her apartment. Like, I think he maybe was in denial and he sort of alluded to how in the past they've had fights and stuff. But then he also said they didn't fight. I feel like they've gotten to this point a couple times before of like, but then they
shit or get off the pot.
Then they push through. So really maybe he did think that they were going to get back together and in which case like why air out your dirty laundry or two
the
like,
next day.
And to have to like say it the next day, it's like all these girls like Brianna and Rachel Kirkconnell, all they wanted was like a week to process.
Right.
And that's what he wanted to. And it made sense when they say it and it made sense when he says it to me.
Yeah, no, by the way, there are like a lot of similarities between, I think, Paige and Craig and like other public breakups, but the roles are really reversed because stereotypically it's like the woman who's really pushing this timeline of like wanting to get married and have kids. And like, that's why I think a lot of people are like almost impressed by Paige because she's not falling into that sort of cliche. She's like, you know, very career focused, very, you know, independent focused. And Craig is kind of the first time we've seen like a public relationship where the man is the one who's like really wanting to push forward. That's really not the case for most of the people I know in my personal life too, like most relationships. So to hear, I think that if the roles were reversed, we would all be saying like different things.
Yeah.
But because it's Craig, who's the one who's very like timeline focused, I think it's kind of short circuiting people a lot. And I think Amanda Batula's interview most recently where she commented on Craig doing the Page 6 thing, pretending to still be together, that really blew the whole thing up. And that's what he was directly responding to on Watch What Happens Live. She was being like a little mean.
Yeah. And then she also said something about like Craig not defending Paige from the cheating rumors. And
Andy asked about that. That's been like a huge topic of conversation because that's Paige's big issue with Craig up until this point. Like, I think it might have remained pretty much like an amicable breakup if it weren't for like the cheating rumors and then Craig not stepping in and being like, no, that's completely false.
Yeah, I don't think he did the best job explaining himself, but I understood what he was trying to say, I think, which is like, that's completely false. He never made any sort of, he didn't allude to her cheating, never said anything like that. So like, why does he need to respond to this hoax? And like we said about Paige when we were recapping their podcast episode, like real normal people like never thought that she cheated on him. So like, why does he have to respond to the worst people on the internet and get in the mud with them? And when he said like, I don't want to be involved, it's like, you are involved. But yeah. I understand not responding to absolutely baseless rumors because then it gives people the runway to keep starting baseless rumors.
Making shit up 1,000%. And I think like I really see both sides from like I can understand how Paige is like, listen, people are saying horrible things about me and like you know them to not be true. Like if you could just like step your pussy up, like that would be great. So while if Craig had sort of stepped in and said, but leave Paige alone, like that would have been really lovely and magnanimous of him. But also, like, Craig is dealing with a lot. And so Craig is sort of excluding himself from the narrative. And that's what he was trying to say. And you can't because you're Craig of Paige and Craig. But he doesn't want to be part of this, like, drama.
And I'm sure that a part of him, like, is angry. And he said he's angry because she is moving on. Like, even though she's not dating that guy, Joe, like they went to a football game together. Like she's dating. And this is what we said. Like, that's where people start to turn on each other when you like see them with the next person. And it's like, we're no longer overarchingly having each other's backs because we're moving on. So it's like, I think he's also just mad that she is moving on and he doesn't feel like he contributed to those rumors at all. So why is it his job to squash them?
Responsibility to like get in the gutter with the trolls.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also like I really want Paige to know that nobody thinks that. Like I've never once questioned her character during this entire saga. Like you're allowed to break up with someone 1,000%. Like whether people agree like she should have stayed with him, who cares? It's her life. Like she is completely valid in wanting to break up with someone. It's her choice. This is a free country. And she's done nothing wrong. Like she's not a bad person. And I've never once questioned her character. She's allowed to move on with her life and make a decision. And I don't think she cheated on him. And if she did go on a date with somebody 4 weeks later, like everybody moves on in their own time. I don't even think that's so crazy. Like I think that she is like, and it's hard because Bravo's so toxic. Like the fandom is so crazy. Like the accounts and the blogs and Reddit. So I could see how it's so easy to get caught up in it. But I want her to know like normies up here, we don't mess around with the carny folk. Like we're chilling. We know. Like, it's okay.
Yeah. For me, there's not a bad guy in this story.
No.
It's like two people who I stan and I once shipped. And then, like, they broke up in a very amicable way. Not mutual, as Craig says, but, like, you're allowed to break up with someone. You can call them and then you talk to them for the rest of the week. And then you have that final conversation a few days later. She gave him plenty of time to process and grieve without the world knowing, which is, again, just what, like, Rachel and Brianna had been asking for. And like, there's not a bad guy in this story. I think people just like want to find someone to blame. We're so used to that. Like,
no, and we're mad. Like we wanted it to work out.
Yeah, but we're used to like if something goes wrong, like you want to drag someone. But I think most of their relationship, like we know what the issues were, but we also know that they really liked each other. And I think that it just didn't work out. And that happens all the time.
You're 100% right. We're just very used to being like team Zach Bryan, team Brianna. Like there's no teams.
Because there's like a bad person involved. But to me, there's no bad person involved.
Nobody did anything wrong. And I think that people are just like projecting their own relationship issues. Like if you were in a relationship where you felt like somebody led you on for too long, like you're going to be Team Craig. If you are in a relationship where you feel like somebody like was kind of suffocating you, like you're going to be Team Paige. Like if people are just projecting, you're 100% right. There is nobody at fault here. And it's just a breakup. Like it's just so sad. Ugh, I just love these two so much together.
Yeah. And it's just sad that like what he said, it's like you go from someone being like your soulmate, you know, the ins and outs of them, to them being a stranger. That's just like a crazy thing that happens.
It's so, oh my God, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So wishing them well. I mean, I hate that it's gotten to a place that's contentious. Obviously, comparatively to like other public breakups, it could be worse. But I do wish like we didn't get to this place.
But I also think it has a lot to do with the ancillary characters, Austin, Amanda. You know, everyone like wanting to defend their friend, but they're making it messy.
Agreed.
So I would just, but I guess it's also like reality TV. Like these are dramatic people. What do we expect?
And this is their job too.
Yeah.
I feel sick.
I know. I do feel sick.
Yeah, you are. You have the flu.
Are you ready
Thanks a lot, Paige and Craig.
Thanks a lot. Sick to my stomach. Are you ready for our next story? A little soulmate news. Because Hailee Steinfeld and Josh Allen made their red carpet debut at the NFL Honors nearly 3 months after their engagement. So the Super Bowl is popping off. We asked where it was.
Finally.
Finally, last night was NFL Honors. A lot of fun bits. Headline news, Hailee and Josh walked the carpet together and they kissed when he won MVP.
I want to talk about Hailee and Josh, but I do want to fill you in. Like, not Dave Portnoy literally being the only person making waves at the Super Bowl. He shared something else on a podcast that I saw this morning that I thought was so interesting. Braxton Berrios was like set to guest on like 2 Barstool podcasts, and he canceled like the hour before. And Dave is like so mad. I think like maybe Braxton has either an issue with Barstool or Dave, or like maybe, I don't know, Alex Earl. Like, it's kind of, if you think about it, like she's with Unwell. Like there's a lot like of connections there. And he is like basically asking people to get him Braxton's phone number because he wants to ask Braxton why he canceled.
But why would Braxton say yes if there were outstanding issues?
I don't know. Well, so Patrick Mahomes basically was asked in a press conference if he'll go on the Bussin' with the Boys podcast now because they've left Barstool. You know Bussin' with the Boys where Travis went on?
Yeah.
It's a Barstool podcast. And I guess like Patrick has beef with Barstool. He said, well, now they have a much likelier chance of me getting on their podcast now that they've left Barstool. That's what he said in the press conference. And so Dave was talking about that on the podcast, being like, I didn't even know Patrick had an issue with us, but like, fuck him. And Braxton Berrios, you too.
But why would Braxton say yes? Like, I don't know if he has an issue or just something came up.
I don't know.
I'm going to give Braxton the benefit of the doubt.
And just, you're going to say something came up?
Perhaps.
Okay.
Like,
I mean,
maybe he couldn't get off the floor after watching his girlfriend in that commercial.
Oh my God. We
Help.
need to talk about her.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
That was a brilliant marketing move. Yeah. Carl's Jr., if you guys are like, you know, some of our young Gen Z listeners, you don't know that like back in the day, Carl's Jr. would run like 1 commercial a year with like the hottest girl alive. Classically, you know, Paris Hilton has been one, Lindsay Lohan, like all the girls of yore. And they always wore these like sexy star bikinis and were like washing cars, eating these burgers. It was like very like toxic male gaze, but in the hottest, most positive way ever. And they haven't done one in a while. I don't even know that they were like still selling burgers or whatever they sell. And they've brought back the classic commercial with like the girls in the bikini with Alex Earl. It's so brilliant. It's such a good get for her and for them. It's truly, honestly, maybe a Toasty Lions candidate.
I'll put it on the list, and then when we reflect back on it, we'll know whether or not.
Because it's such a slay. And it really, well, look, we're talking about Carl's Jr. I actually didn't know they were still in business.
Well, that's because they're not an East Coast chain.
Yes, very true. But like neither is In-N-Out, and I know that they're still open for business.
Of course you do.
Right.
That's different. It's different.
No, like I've never seen anybody do a mukbang of Carl's Jr.
Charles.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sorry, back to the story at hand. I just wanted to keep you abreast on the drama.
I'm holding space for Braxton. That like maybe he got the flu.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm sure it's going around.
1000%. Okay, back to the story at hand. I didn't realize that these two have like never been on a red carpet together. I love that. I don't know when they would. Like this is truly the only
like last NFL honors. The ESPYs.
I guess.
The whatever movie she's doing.
Gorgeous.
She looks so gorgeous, and also like she like a movie star, but also like a girl. Yeah. You know, just a girl.
She's very regular, and I mean that in a very positive way.
Me too.
I think a lot of these celebrities like start out looking regular, and then they all end up kind of looking the same at one point. No, she really has maintained her individuality while also like growing into this beautiful woman ever since she's launched on the scene when she was like 16. She looked gorgeous, and yes, very normal.
Yeah, like what you would wear to a friend's wedding. Yes, like just wearing her engagement ring, like excited to be engaged and show everyone. And then he won MVP, and they smooched.
So he was up for the award. He won, and he made this when he got up, he gave her like a big smooch, and like she like pulled back, and then he went in for a second one. Like he's obsessed with her. I'm obsessed. And then he also acknowledged her in his speech. He made a big speech, really spoke very highly of his parents, and they were there crying. Like I was hysterically crying, just being like, you know, so much sacrifice, so much money, so much time, like so much commitment. I love you guys so much, and my siblings. And then he's like, and last but not least, Hailee. I think he just said my fiance. He didn't even say her name. And then they cut to her, and her eyes, like Billie Eilish when she lost her eyes are twinkling with tears, but in a positive way. And she's just staring at him, and he's like, I would not be here without you. I love you so much. Oh, that just reminded me one thing Craig said on Watch What Happens Live. Sorry, I want to go back. He actually said something incredibly sweet, which was that, because Andy was like, what have you been doing? How have you been doing? What are you going to do with your life now? And he was like, listen, to Paige's credit, like I'm such a better person now than I was 3 years ago. So there would have been a time where like if I got broken up with and I was heartbroken, I would have gone out drinking and like making bad decisions and staying out all night. And like, you know, to Paige's credit, like I'm handling it really well. He kind of like gave her a lot of credit for like the mature person. And I think that's really lovely. And I do think that's true. Like a good relationship, even if it doesn't work out, like will change you and make you more mature. I thought that was really sweet.
Yes. Piecing together a couple things, because in the preview for the rest of Southern Charm season, Austin and Craig, who have been fighting all season, they have an emotional conversation, I think in the Bahamas, where it seems as though Craig is telling him that he was on the brink of becoming an alcoholic. And then he went to focus on like his business, and Paige helped him out of that. And that's why he resents Austin for like not being like, hey buddy. Because it's like, trying not to be, I think he said like trying not to be an alcoholic is going to ruin my friendship with Austin. So that's why he's like big mad at Austin. And then I saw a clip of Carl Radke on Nick Vile's podcast talking about Paige and Craig. And it's actually crazy that Carl said this. And I think it's a little, you know, not right that he said it, but he alluded to the fact that like Craig was having some issues in his relationship with Paige, and Paige was really there for him and like a lot of ups and downs. Like I feel like there was a underlying issue of like alcoholism in the early days of their relationship. So when he said that, like to her,
Carl said that?
Carl didn't say that, but he was like, especially after seeing the preview, like I feel like Carl was alluding to that. Now I might need the context
reading
of
into
the next episode of Southern Charm and watch Carl's interview, but it seems like that was also a part of their relationship, like her really like rehabilitating him and helping him not go down like a dark path. Yeah. And so him giving her credit on that on Watch What Happens Live, like to me was explanatory of that. But I thought it was like weird that Carl would say that, because that's like a little bit like Kyle.
Not your business.
When Kyle was like, well, you came to work.
You're doing cocaine at work. Yeah.
Like throwing in his face a little bit.
Yeah.
Just
that's interesting. Sorry, back to Josh and Hailee, the two loves in my life. It was just really such a pargy moment. The NFL Honors made a lot of waves. Like Nikki Glaser was there, Snoop Dogg hosted. They were roasting everyone.
Bill Belichick and
Joe Burrow, Bill Belichick and his daughter. Like really so crazy.
Did you see that they caught the guys who robbed Joe Burrow's home?
You're kidding. Yeah. That must feel like so fabulous.
I feel like that never happens when we report on celebrity burglaries, but it was like a gang of illegal immigrants, and there's pictures of them like posing with his like custom diamond necklaces.
Obsessed. Honestly, it's giving the bling ring.
Yeah. So.
Oh my goodness. Well, that's that on that.
That's that on that. That must be nice for him. Maybe get his stuff back too. That never happens.
He like was a part of the roast. He didn't seem to be like taking the jokes. Like he doesn't seem like he. I said this a couple of months ago. He kind of seems like Fabissina energy, and he was not into the jokes made about him on the roast. He basically, and they weren't even making fun of him. Snoop Dogg said like, oh, he bought a $3 million Batmobile, like this car, Joe Burrow. And Snoop Dogg was like, that must be nice for the first time to like have defense. Like seriously, not even a bad joke. His smile faded. He was actually mad. Like, oh my God, he actually gives me like the worst energy.
I don't think about him, but
no, the little that I see, I'm just like, I'm not dazzled by, but beyond the face.
His outfit was like so
terrible.
Grammys.
So terrible. I'm so glad you brought up his outfit. Like, I actually really like when athletes try and step out of their box. And for the most part, like athletes crush it. They have a lot of fun with fashion. Nobody wears like a boring suit. They always wear like something crazy or colorful or patterned. And I like it. It's not so serious. I don't know what the hell he was wearing. He looked so dumb.
I like when they wear a boring suit.
No, the athletes, like, they really have fun with it. And I feel like every week when they like walk down the tunnel to their games, it's like a little mini fashion show.
But like seeing them on the red carpet, like Josh Allen wore a boring suit, and like it's so cute.
But Josh Allen like would wear a boring suit.
It's just cute.
Some of the guys like would, like the guy from Detroit, Jared Goff, like classic boring suit. But him and his wife looked pargy. I think she's pregnant. But like some people really get creative, and I like it. I think they do it well.
Okay. Are you ready?
Some of the wags could really step up their pussies up, not to be rude.
Oh, I didn't even see any, but I was busy watching Southern Charm.
I was seeing just like some TJ Maxx sparkly dresses. Like, girl, your husband makes $100 million. Like, let's go. Yeah. It's also weird that they do it before the Super Bowl. So like Travis wasn't there, Patrick Mahomes wasn't there, Jalen Hurts wasn't there, Saquon Barkley wasn't there. Like, that's weird.
Right, and those people like win a lot of awards, and then it's like a virtual acceptance speech.
Yeah, and it's like, it's for the best of the year, and the best of the year like are busy because they're playing in the Super Bowl.
They're busy being the best.
Right. Doing things that the best do.
Except Josh Allen is the MVP. Never seen him play before. He is the MVP.
No, I really love him. He's so cute. And he's also like so regular looking. Like we went to high school with him. Do you know what I mean?
Totally. Are you ready for our third story? Mm-hmm. I don't know if I have the energy for this one, but I'm going to do my best.
Do you want me to read it?
Chappell Roan is challenging a writer who slammed her Grammy speech to match a $25,000 donation for struggling musicians. So following Chappell Roan's Grammy speech about how record labels should provide health care for the artist, which seemed to...
And a livable wage.
And a livable wage. Seemed to make sense on its face.
Yeah.
There is a writer who wrote a piece for Hollywood Reporter. He's
a former music executive, so he is obviously like on the side of the labels.
Yeah. His name is...
Jeff
Rabhan. I don't know Jeff.
And he basically was like, I commend her. It's very admirable, very noble, but like she has no idea what she's talking about. And she claims to be like this big, like just being like, it would never be feasible that a label could pay all their artists a livable wage. That's what advances are for. Like that's how this industry was built. And two, she's out here marketing herself as like, you know, an outsider. She's not like this music industry. She's, you know, noble and a socialist. But, you know, she's going to the Grammys and she's a part of the machine now. So like she acts like she's holier than thou, but she's a part of thou.
Yeah, he also
kind of read her to filth.
He read her to filth and explained a lot of the ins and outs of the industry and why like the record labels have seriously no obligation to give people insurance, and you wouldn't even want them to do that, to be like micromanaging these aspects of their artists' lives. And he also said like while her overall cause is maybe noble to her, like this isn't the way that things get done. Like like that's not how like actual change is made. And like it's better. Like he was giving some other ideas for things that she could do with her fellow artists to help uplift artists who are not in that room. But yeah, really chewed her up and spat her out.
No, and the article like was making waves. Halsey read it, and you know Halsey's like a longtime advocate for like how the music industry is so terrible. And she wrote this scathing thing on her Instagram stories to the guy Jeff, just being like, she
chewed him up.
Right, everyone's chewing each other up. And we said, who is Chappell going to chew?
So she then challenged the writer who slammed her Grammy speech to match her $25,000 donation for struggling musicians. So
honestly, kind of a slay of a response. Like, what can you say to that?
Yeah. Does he have $25,000, this guy?
He's a former music executive. I think he does.
Okay. So then the two of them have raised $50,000. And that's going to give health care to the music
all
industry.
The struggling artists. Yeah, no, it's definitely a start. Let's say that. I don't know another way that she could have responded that I think would have, because she really detonated the whole thing. It was like kind of this explosive Halsey. And then she was just like, okay, you say like this isn't the right way. Fine, I'll put my money where my mouth is. Here's 25 grand. You give me some too, because you're obviously so passionate about it. You sat down to write an article. So now I don't think, you know, in the grand scheme of things, is 50 grand going to change the music industry? No. But I think from like a PR perspective, it was actually a very good response by her.
I think that, and what he was saying, it's like, so Halsey should donate too. And a lot of the bigger artists who are in that room, like who they said like, labels like invest all this money in artists, and it's only 15% that wind up paying like for everyone else. Like most of them are a flop. And those people,
but that's a lot of entertainment. That's the TV industry too. 90% of TV shows lose money, but the 10% that make it cover the 90%.
Right. So he was saying that she should call on her fellow artists who are also of means. Mm-hmm. So I know she called out him, but maybe she can team up with some others who are passionate.
I just feel like Chappell is built for this. Like she knew when she was making that speech, and this is just like who she is. Like she's not gonna like she's what's the word I'm looking for? Not a pot stirrer, but like she was
a lightning rod.
Yes. Oh my God. Thank you. That's exactly what I was looking for. She's a lightning rod, and she's looking to shake things up, and that's not without criticism, and it's not without pushback. So I thought she handled this quite well. Her first big squabble, you know?
Yeah. I'm gonna admit I don't know like a lot about healthcare in the music industry.
And I don't know what's right and what's wrong. Like
not at all. Like I'm not taking a side of who should be doing what, but I have seen her like speak out on things that she does know nothing about and speak with such
conviction.
So I'm gonna just kind of go off of that and say like this girl has no idea what she's talking about, even though she thinks that she is like noble and being good.
she does have a very long history of like actually making shit up in a very condescending way about like geopolitical issues here in this country, abroad. People have really gotten upset with her about a lot of things that she said. And it's people on both sides. Like she really pissed off a lot of people during the election. So yes, she does. That's kind of like her thing, which is kind of my thing too. I like talking with conviction.
You are literally the polar opposite.
No, I mean like I like when I'm talking about random things, I'm always like, no, for sure. And I have no idea what I'm talking about, you know?
Yeah. So on this issue, like,
I don't know.
if she's right or wrong. I'm just looking at her track record where like she thinks that she's the good guy and she's got it all wrong.
Yeah, it's definitely a good point that you bring up if history is any indicator.
Right.
Yeah,
let's look at track record.
Chack.
The Chappell tracker.
Frightening.
Are you ready for our next story?
What number?
4. I don't think you're ready for this jelly.
No, I am actually.
Oh, okay. Ugly Betty is getting a Rewatch podcast starring Michael and Amanda.
Okay. I thought you were going to say it's getting like a reboot, a reunion, which is exciting. And then like we got a Rewatch podcast. Like that sentence just sort of went downhill after the word re.
Yeah.
Okay, like I'm not
Marc
the target
and Amanda.
demo.
Sorry, Marc is Michael Urie.
I knew
and
you were.
Amanda is Becki Newton, and they are starting an Ugly Betty Rewatch podcast, and they will be the hosts.
If there were 2 castmates who could do it, it would literally only be them. Like I don't even want Betty.
They have to do it in their characters, where they're like just
they will.
chewing everyone up and spitting them out.
That guy who plays Marc does not get enough roles. He was in Younger too. He was like the sassy book agent. He was excellent. He does not get enough gigs, so I'm glad that he's like reprising an old role. I'm personally not the target demo for Rewatch podcasts. Like I just
sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, and I don't know. Even like Desperate Housewives, like which is like my show of the moment right now. If like Bree and Gabby did, like I still wouldn't watch it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I want to live in the fantasy. Like I don't want to remember that this is fake.
I know.
But Vanessa Williams posted that she is available to go on the podcast.
Oh, wait. Okay. If Vanessa Williams goes on, I'll watch. I can't wait till I get to the part in Desperate Housewives where Vanessa Williams joins the cast as a full. She gets an apple too.
Yeah.
That's the best part, Renee. Because Ben and I were talking about, we were like, when does the show get bad? Like all good shows get bad. And I'm like, I don't think it does because like at the end they get Renee, who was Vanessa Williams. She's the best part.
Yeah. I think other people's storylines just get bad.
Like fizzle. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like it's a cute concept, and if they're gonna do it, like great, give it to Marc and Amanda. But I'm just so not into Rewatch podcasts. But people seem to be, even though like, what's the most popular one?
Office Ladies.
It's literally, I don't think a Rewatch podcast anymore. I think it's just Jenna and Angela's podcast
because it was such a successful Rewatch podcast. And here's my question about Rewatch podcasts: do you have to also like rewatch the episode? It's probably better homework if you watch the episode that they're recapping.
So let me tell you, because I did the Glee.
Because you did the Glee one.
The first time I did it, that never made air because Naya Rivera died like the week before, and they just like tabled the podcast. They had given me an episode to watch, and we recapped that episode. This time around, they were just like talking to a super fan about Glee in general. So they've maybe shifted their model a little bit. I don't know what other Rewatch podcasts do. I think they all kind of start with the watch one episode and recap because it's like an easy format, and either they finish the episodes and keep going, or they just think it's better to have on like, you know, super fans and old castmates, and it just like fizzles.
Yeah, I think doing it episode by episode like makes it good so that you don't run out of things to talk about, but it's just a lot of homework for like the people participating.
Correct. Correct. I watched that episode of Glee for nothing.
Right. Are you ready for our 5th and final story that will lead into our Southern Charm recap?
If it's our 5th and final story, that's going to lead into the Southern Charm recap that's brought to you by State Farm.
Yes, it is.
When you get a new car, a new house, the first thing you might find yourself saying is, how is this real? Or it's giving homeowner. But really the words you want to be thinking or singing are, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. So State Farm is there, confirmed, with the coverage that you need for your car, your home, even boats, motorcycles, and RVs, and the other things that matter to you. So with a State Farm agent, you know that someone is there to help you choose the coverage that you need. With so many coverage options, State Farm gives you options there too. So maybe you're like me, you're a technology swirly, loves to do everything on her phone, very fast-paced, bright lights, big city. Well, with State Farm, they've got me covered. I can get help on statefarm.com or on their award-winning app. But perhaps you're listening, you're more of a Jax, you handle things like a little bit of the slower life, in person, on the phone with a local agent. Well, that's what we love about State Farm. No matter what kind of toaster you are, State Farm lets you do things your way. So when you need help protecting the things that matter most, remember to sing it like Jax and Claude do. Are you too sick to sing? Do you need me to sort of
Maybe
cover
I'll
for
be
you?
like Phoebe.
Okay, let's hear it.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I don't think that was Phoebe, and I don't think that was Jackie either. That was just like bad.
Sad.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Ooh, that was really good. Thank you, State Farm, for sponsoring today's episode. Today's episode is also brought to you by Thrive Market. So let's be honest, raising a family today feels like navigating a maze of unhealthy options between hidden sugars, artificial ingredients, and misleading labels. It's hard to know what actually is good for your kids, and that's why we love Thrive Market. It's like having a personal guide to healthier living for your entire family. So they make it simple at Thrive Market to find trusted, family-friendly brands without spending hours in the grocery store. So from snacks and school lunches to pantry staples, everything they offer is 100% non-GMO. Plus, their on-site filters, you can shop based on what matters most to your family. So whether you're looking for low sugar, gluten-free, organic, high protein, clean, cleaning supplies, whatever it is, it's all just a click away. I know, Jackie, you're doing like 2 Thrive Markets a week now. Like some of the best snacks
I'm waiting
come from
on
Thrive
an order
Market.
right now, cooking ingredients, snacks. I get all my flour so I don't have to lug it from the store. Anything that's heavy.
Oh, that's smart.
Rayo's tomato sauce.
Right, because it all gets shipped to your door, which is just like for any groceries. Like you don't have to carry them from the car. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Especially if you live in the city. Like you don't know true hell until you've carried like 17 grocery bags from the grocery, like 5 blocks to your house. Good luck.
And the best part is that they're all clean ingredients. Like you don't have to read all the labels. Like you could just shop at Thrive Market, get whatever looks good to you, and know that it is good.
And now they have this new feature called the Healthy Swap Scanner in their app. So you can scan a product that you're used to buying if you're like out at a grocery store, and it will instantly recommend a cleaner, healthier alternative. So it's really been a game changer for swaps. If you're ready to start 2025 junk free, head to thrivemarket.com/thetoast and you'll get 30% off your first order plus a free $60 gift. That's THRIVE market.com/thetoast, thrivemarket.com/thetoast.
Thank you, the Turt.
You're welcome.
Our 5th and final story. Southern Charm star Madison LeCroy is pregnant with her second child, her first with her husband, Brett Randale. So Madison posted yesterday after we wrapped the toast that she is pregnant. So she already has one son, Hudson, who we all know from the show. And now her and her husband, Brett, are expecting, which we knew that she wanted to have more kids, but then he has been having some health issues over the past year. So they kind of tabled everything. So then to see this now was just so exciting for the Madison stands, of which I am one.
It's huge, but it was also huge for the Clear Blue stands because she did one of my favorite things, and she did a Clear Blue ad for her announcement, which we all know, I feel like we talk about all the time. It's like a very high-paying gig, and the last one to do it was Lindsay Hubbard. So did you hear the rumor that Lindsay Hubbard and her man broke up?
No.
Yeah, it's like starting to form on the internet. It's completely unconfirmed, but like people are talking about it.
Oh, I hope that's not true.
Me too. Sorry, back to happier days. So she did a Clear Blue ad, which I just loved. I'm very intrigued by the Clear Blue of it all.
Yeah. And the picture is so pargy.
So pargy. Her man is so cute. She's literally the most gorgeous girl.
She's the most gorgeous girl. It's insane watching her on TV. Like every outfit, every look, like she's always just 10 out of 10. And she's just such a great personality. She's such a star.
Agreed. I love her. I'm so happy for her. And I didn't know that her man was having all those health issues until you recapped it on the show, I think last week or the week before. And that they were trying to conceive. So like to know that like this is how it ends for them is just parch.
It's so beautiful. So I'll just do a little Southern Charm recap because last night's episode was so funny. Of course, like the Craig and Paige conversation was a highlight, but then some other things are going down, like Shep and his Bahamian girlfriend and her ghosting him. But next week they are going to the Bahamas to visit her.
Oh my God.
Like they're taking their cash trip there, and I think it like all crumbles based on the previews. Like he's like we're in love, and she's like we weren't in love.
We're not.
And I had told you that Whitney had matched with her on Raya.
Yes.
And Patricia told Madison
she's just like a thirst monster.
Yeah, especially for Southern Charm. And then last night, Patricia held her gentleman's dinner, and it was like Napoleon Bonaparte themed, and the food was Italian and looked so fucking good.
So you love Patricia?
No, I love Patricia now. Like her home is a museum. I can't believe I was sleeping on her. It's so funny. Every time she has.
Did you see her on Watch What Happens Live saying she sold her house to Whitney? She doesn't live there anymore.
Well, she had said a few weeks ago on the show that she had transferred the house to Whitney.
So she said on Watch What Happens Live, because Andy was like, "What'd you sell it to him for, $1?" And she was like, No, I sold it to him for like a fair market price. She said it's more so part of her estate planning to like pass it down.
And like taxes to.
But she also doesn't want to live there anymore. She does not want to like be responsible for, it's a big house, the gardens, the staff and everything. So it's like Whitney's problem now.
Yeah. And like also like the moldings, the art, everything is antique. Like you have to take care of it like a museum. Every time she has one of her dinners and they sit on her like 19th century chairs, like one always breaks. And usually it's
That's
Craig.
funny.
Last night it was Whitney. Whitney was like jet lagged, I guess, and drunk. And he was being so crazy because Shep was saying like, why doesn't Sienna like, why is she ghosting me? Why doesn't she like me? And Whitney's like belligerent. He's like, you're not rich enough. You're not famous enough. And it was just like, no, it was just so crazy. I guess like, cause
But it's probably true. Not a slight to Shep, but just a slight more to this girl who clearly has like high aspirations for herself.
Right. I don't think anyone's ever called Shep not rich enough.
Right.
So that was probably a shock. And like, he's obviously very wealthy. So she just probably wants more for her life. But it was really, really funny. The whole dinner party was really great. And then what else is new with the gang?
Molly,
my girl, she did a modeling shoot. She's such a good model because she was like posing in the pool. It looked like seriously so unpleasant. And then they showed the shots, like the drone shots and the photographer shots. And like she just has a face for the camera. Like she looked amazing.
Love that.
They also showed in the previews for the rest of the season that she goes in to kiss Shep.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm following Southern Charm like via you. And really the only thing I care about is Shep and this girl getting together. Sometimes like you don't even realize like what you're looking for is right in front of you.
It's so true. But I don't know if he'll be like open to it because like he's so hung up on Sienna because I guess she's the only girl who like wasn't buying what he was selling. Taylor wasn't in the episode. Sally wasn't in the episode. I didn't particularly miss them in that storyline because now like we're with the OGs. Craig, they at Patricia's dinner, they were literally just like roasting everyone. They were talking to Craig about his relationship with Paige and everyone just being like, it's been 2.5 years. Like, when are you gonna propose?
Right.
And it's like, that's rich coming from this group. Austin's in a long-term relationship.
None of them even have girlfriends.
None of them have girlfriends. They're always like in long-term. Like, how long did Shep date Taylor for and didn't propose to her?
Excuse me, Austin was in a long-term relationship with Madison and he cheated on her. Like, please.
Meanwhile, Patricia's like, in my day, if you met someone and you hit it off, you got married. Patricia's been married like 6 times. Like,
right. No, seriously.
But like, you can't tell me nothing about Patricia, but it's just like a room full of people that Craig shouldn't be listening to him. And I don't even think that he is. And at a certain point, he's like, yeah, we're looking at rings just to get them to shut up.
Shut up. Yeah. But I'm sure they were.
No, and in the previews, he says like he had bought a ring.
Right. Yeah, right. And he alluded to that on Watch It Happen Live. He's like, Andy, I don't want to, but you know that like we were talking about like weddings and stuff. And he said, I don't want to spoil it, but.
Yeah.
So he must talk about it more.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's been really a great season. And it's just crazy that all of this happened in the spring. And that conversation between Paige and Craig, where they're clearly like on different pages, was 6 months ago. So everything's sort of just been
downhill.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for the Southern Charm recap. Let's finish out the week with Queenie and Weenie, my absolute favorite part of the week, where Jackie and I like to give out an award. It's a great way to sum up the week, put a little bow on it, and we like to nominate 2 people for Queenie of the Week and Weenie of the Week. And they're pretty self-explanatory titles. You know, somebody who acted like a Queenie this week and somebody who acted like a Weenie this week. It's not that serious. It's a 7-day title. You can be Queenie one week, Weenie the next, even though it's yet to happen. Okay, your Queenie?
My Queenie of the week is Michael Buckner. Michael Buckner has been such a cornerstone of our week, and him and his family hearing the episode, reaching out. We got to get the shoot on the books. Like, it's just been a reminder of why we do what we do.
1,000%. I couldn't agree more. Michael Buckner was also my Queenie. But I wanted you to have your Queenie moment. And I also wanted to give an honorable mention to Onija Andrew Robinson, the American woman in Pakistan. She is my Queenie of the week. And for future reference, if anybody's just going to ask me a question I don't want to answer, I'm just going to let them know that telling you my business is against my religion. Because that's what she said. And she's 100% valid.
That is so funny. Who do you have for Weenie?
My Weenie of my week goes to every single reporter down in New Orleans.
Oh, that's good.
Asking Travis Kelce inappropriate questions. They have gotten worse. I've seen so many. He is seriously withering away in front of these people. Like, he's just going to disappear. And I saw another NFL player on his team talking about, I think it's that guy, you know, the girl who Taylor loves, Channy.
Yeah.
I think it's her husband. He was asked, like, what do you think about how many reporters? I guess each individual player has like their own little podium, and reporters can choose to go. And I guess so many people go to Travis's, and he was like, that's the Taylor Swift effect. And so you see, I saw like a bird's eye perspective of how many people go to Travis's podium, and it's seriously absurd. And the fact that people work so hard to get there, and then that's the question that they ask, absolutely disgraceful.
I love that.
Weenie.
And my weenie will be piggybacking.
And sorry, wait. Just to connect my Queenie and my weenie, Travis needs to start saying, telling you my business is against my religion. That's what he needs to say.
But it's not. Like, he has a podcast. You can't say that if you have a podcast.
I don't know. I feel like Onija is about to start a podcast. She launched a Bitcoin.
My weenie is related to your weenie because my weenie will be the AP reporters who snubbed
Oh, shit. That's a really good one. Not the Grammys being this week.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, by the way, I want to change mine.
No, I think like
what about the state of journalism?
I think the overarching message is the weenies in journalism.
Yeah, I forgot about those two bitches from the AP. I hate them.
It was really the one. Like, the other one's going down
I
with
know.
her, but there was...
It's true.
There
was curly hair on the left.
Yeah, there was one that was like, Chappell, sorry, baby.
Yeah. And she was one who had to apologize at the end of the stream.
Yeah, the other girl is just like, her face is associated, but...
She's guilty by association.
But it was mostly one girl.
I'm going to let you go, Jax. Get back in bed. Thank you for showing up and being and holding space. We truly appreciate you. Thank you to the Toasters for a fab week, even though you keep making fun of our wainscoting, which is actually the proper term for the frames behind us. I know you guys obviously don't understand like elevated taste, but
they're probably so happy today because they didn't have to see them.
So true. It's a dream for the frame haters.
The wainscoting haters.
Right. Wainscoting? I don't know. I literally don't know.
Scott.
I don't know. Thank you so much for listening to the Toast Millennium Morning Show. We deliver the fast 5 stories you need to know every Monday through Friday on YouTube. So if you're watching us on YouTube, please don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. We're also available as a podcast and our podcast can be found on Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, Public Radio, iHeartRadio, CastBox, all the places where visit a podcast. Find us at Toast 5 Story, Video, Info, Sunny, wickedly talented we are.
Love ya. Bye.